And Trey Ryder, we welcome into the program right now. He is in town because we've got some cornhole big time on TV this weekend in Jacksonville. I think it's right over there at Daly's place. Trey, this isn't as easy as Austen thinks, is it?
It's a game that's pretty easy to get decent at, but to get to that pro level, it's just like any other sport. It takes dedication and practice and things of that nature. So who knows? He could be semi-pro as he claims.
Hey, how big is this event this weekend? And how cool is the venue over there at Daly's place?
Yeah, Daly's place is going to be a really, really cool location for us tonight. We'll be recording our CBS broadcast around 8 o'clock tonight, and that'll air tomorrow at 1 o'clock on CBS. But, yeah, it's going to be incredible. It's our Pro Shootout Championship. So our Pro Shootout Series was something that's been going on all summer long, qualifying tournament after qualifying tournament, and we've narrowed it down all the way into the finals of our three divisions. So we'll have our men's singles championship, our women's singles championship, and our doubles championship. And they'll be over in just those three games. There's going to be about $120,000 given away between all the competitors. So it's going to be a big payday for some of these players. And it culminates an entire summer of play. So it's going to be really cool. I think Daly's Place is going to be an awesome venue. Should have a good little crowd out there too to watch and bring some good energy.
Trey, regardless of the sport, we always like to crown the GOATs. We like to crown, who the best is. I feel like cornhole is a sport where it's all about consistency, obviously. And I feel like you can have your on and off days. Like, is there a team or is there a player out there that, like, at every tournament, you expect him or her to win? Or is it kind of like an open field usually?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I would say one of the players, if you tune in and watch our broadcast, that's going to be featured in the doubles championship is a guy named Matt Guy. For years and years and years, he's been renowned as the GOAT, right?
Okay.
And part of that is because he's been playing so long, he would win tournament after tournament after tournament. So that's the easy answer, but recently we've seen a lot of young talent and a lot of newer players kind of emerging into our sport. And it's becoming a lot harder for, say, Matt to dominate at the level that he used to. And now, for example, this season, he's had a lot of great success on the doubles side, but didn't have a single win on the singles side. So really it's migrating more and more to a sport that, a lot of different players are getting into this pro division and really contending. And it really turns out it's more like golf. Whose day is it? Maybe there'll be a day where we have a Tiger Woods, someone that, ascends to the top and dominates in all facets. But in a way, it's a really even playing field, and it's just about who stays hot that day.
What makes you good at cornhole? Sounds so easy,
Yeah.
right? Like, okay,
Yeah,
score the most points.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Like, you just brought up a great point, right? Trey Ryder with us, by the way. Big American Cornhole League tournament coming in town, recorded tonight, play on CBS tomorrow at 1. He joins us right here on ESPN690. It's going to be at Daly's place, so very cool stuff. But you just mentioned golf. Like, there are a lot of good golfers, man. Like, I can go around Jacksonville, and I go find somebody that will shoot like 5 under par. But that does not mean that he's going to go on the tour. There's a big difference. So what is that difference? Like, you probably go to some place in tournament locally and be like, hey, that guy's pretty darn good right there, but might not be good enough to play in the American Cornhole League.
Yeah, so it's a very similar dynamic, right? If you go to a league across the country, because the American Cornhole League, we have leagues everywhere. We have over 300 directors that run tournaments across the country, and you can go to any one of these tournaments and find someone that's not a pro, but would just absolutely go to any tailgate and beat everybody 21-0. I mean, they're that good. But what really elevates the top players are two things. One is just flat-out consistency and mental focus, right? I mean, just like any other sport, cornhole, when you get to the top level, is very much a mental game, and people have to be able to focus to really play through it. But the one thing that's really unique about cornhole, too, when you talk about different niche sports as we continue to grow, and something that I think, can give it a viewership excitement in relation, in comparison to, say, something like golf, is you can play defense in cornhole, right? So when you're throwing a bag, and you slide it up the board and you slide, 15 bags in a row if you're a professional player. Well, the cool thing about cornhole is you can do something to change up your opponent's game. If my opponent's thrown 15 bags in the hole in a row, well, maybe I throw what's called a blocker bag, and I throw the bag in the middle of the board, and now my opponent can't do that. They either have to try to push it and execute a push shot, like we like to call it, or the lingo is throw an airmail, which is like a swish in basketball. They have to throw the bag straight into the hole, and when you're talking about being 30 feet away from the hole, a 6-inch hole, it statistically becomes more difficult than, say, hitting a three-point shot. And we know a three-point shot and what those percentages can be in basketball. So there are different strategic angles that you can take as a player that's playing against a pro or is a pro, and it's how you handle those defensive strategies and how you get around those things that ultimately separates the top tier talent.
I'll tell you what, Brent, I like me a good airmail, man. I've watched a couple cornhole I've watched a couple cornhole competitions, and it's impressive. It's impressive when it's nothing but net through that small little hole. Trey, obviously, I grew up in Wisconsin. We play corn all the time. Now, the conditions are a little different. There's basic beverages being passed around. There's trash talking. There's all that stuff. When we get to, like, the circuit, we get to the professionals, I mean, is it mostly of just pretty calm and professional demeanor, or are there some teams out there that actually would like to psych people out? Like, are players rocking AirPods to try to drown out the noise, or is it all respectful and it's all gamesmanship?
What is so cool about our division is, yes, all of the above. You're going to have some players that will literally – so if you watch our broadcast, say, this evening, you'll get one of the players that you'll see is Eric Davis. He's a very young kid. He's got all of the shots, right? When you talk about cornhole players, we have guys like – you can compare guys like Tom Brady, who is just – he's an incredible player, but he's going to sit in the pocket and he's going to do the same thing that he can do over and over and over again and execute at the highest level. But then you have someone like a Patrick Mahomes that has all of these different tools and things in his arsenal. Mm-hmm. Cornhole, we have similar analogies, right? Someone like an Eric Davis is a younger player that's going to have all those different tools. He's very flashy with his play, but at the same time, you probably won't hear him say a word the entire time. He's going to be locked in. He's going to have his AirPods in, and he's just going to be laser focused. But then on our men's singles side, you're going to have someone like Adam Hissner, who literally plays with an alcoholic beverage in his left hand when he plays. And he constantly is playing mind games with his opponents. He's talking trash. He's trying to get the crowd involved in it. He's saying things out loud that everyone can hear, specifically trying to get into the head of his opponent. So you get all these different strategies coming in here, and that's what makes it so exciting to watch.
I am following that guy now on Twitter. Thank you very much. That's my kind of guy. The bad boy of cornhole. You kidding me? Let's go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to watch.
Trey Ryder, follow him on Twitter as well. And he's with us right now at Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690. All right, man. You got to let's go a little rapid fire on some of this stuff. You're an analyst. Like, what's the best lingo in cornhole? Like, what's the best catchphrase? Or you said airmail, a blocker bag. I mean, what's the best one?
Yeah, my two favorites would probably be airmail and bully bag. So a bully bag is, if there's a blocker bag in front of the hole, a bully bag pushes the blocker out of the way and goes in the hole at the same time. I just like the lingo, and it was something we came up with about a year and a half ago.
Is that, like you said, we came up with that, like you came up with, or in general the sport came up with?
Kind of a little bit of a both. I mean, that's what's cool about having a sport that's still so young and growing. There are things that you have to, when new shots emerge, in the past year and a half, we've had two new shots emerge. One of them is called the roll shot. Like, when you're at a tailgate and you may have a bag on the middle of the board and someone throws it looks like a knuckleball, but it rolls over it. And most of the time that's on accident. Well, some of these pros now know how to roll bags on purpose. And so we had to come up with a name for it because people were doing it. The other one is the and one shot. So an and one shot is when if you have a bag sitting on the back of the hole, on the back edge of the board, and I, as your opponent, would throw an airmail shot on purpose to hit the back lip of the hole. hit your bag off the board and have mine go in at the same time. So that was something that people learned how to do, and so we had to come up with a name for it. So we called it the and one, because you go in and you get another point.
Are you good at cornhole?
I like to say I used to be good. I started as a player. I played for about 8 years competitively. I wouldn't say professionally. I was a decent level player. But then kind of when I went behind the scenes, and went to the analyst side and did things for the league, my play just went straight down the drain. So every now and then I'll pick up a bag just to try to see if I got some of the old skills. But most of the time I just get embarrassed by these pros.
And Austen, I'm going to say this, and I probably shouldn't, because who knows if sponsorship on whether it's CBS or ESPN or anywhere else, I know that can cross. But it feels like Johnsonville is a part of every cornhole thing I ever see. So has anybody ever won Brats for life by winning an event?
Oh, yeah. Johnsonville's been an amazing partner for us. They constantly work on prizes for free brats for a year. So that's a prize they love giving out. So absolutely.
Enough said.
That's not bad right there.
Trey, with the sport of cornhole, like you said, it's growing, and you see on social media now, you see a call to action to try to make this sport an Olympic sport. We got a good sense of what it does in the U.S., but, like, is cornhole ready for the Olympics? Like, is it a global sport yet, or does it still need time to grow?
So, yeah, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when cornhole gets in the Olympics for us. So it's a big goal for us. Right now we have established leagues in about 15 countries across the world. We have to get to 75 in order to get into the Olympics. So that's a big initiative for us over the next year and a half, is to really start getting all these other countries, seeding leagues in there, getting people equipment that they can to play, and really growing the international presence, because this sport has such unlimited potential, right? It's, our slogan is anyone can play and anyone can win, and we stand by that. We have pros as young as 11 and as old as 70.
Wow.
And so ultimately it's a sport that anybody can play and anybody across the world can play. And so because of that, we really think it has attraction to not just be a niche sport, and has potential to be a major sport for a lot of people because it's so relatable and so accessible. So absolutely, the Olympics is on our mind. And it's the goal here in the near future.
Well, and pretty inexpensive too. I mean, get a board. I mean, it's you can make your own board if you really need to. How long do people practice? I mean, I guess you could get the weight room stuff out of this, right? You don't have to go for a jog in a couple miles. I mean, I kid because I care, but I mean, you probably don't need to do that. You can just sit there and practice and practice and practice and practice different styles of shots. Like, what's like a practice day for one of these guys?
Yeah, exactly. It really depends on the player, and some of them will do intense practice sessions. I know some of them are what they call 1,000 bags a day kind of guy, and that's literally, I'm going to throw 1,000 bags today, and they try to do that 4 or 5 times a week. Some players limit their individual practice sessions on a board by themselves, and they really try to only do practicing in game situations, which would mean, they're going 7 days a week to find a tournament, whether it's like a Tuesday night bar league or if it's an actual regional tournament on a Saturday. They're finding something every day of the week to get them into a game type of situation and a game simulation. But yeah, if they are practicing on the board by themselves, they're recreating situations. It's not really just about trying to throw, bag after bag after bag in the hole. Although that is good for muscle memory. At the pro level, these pros have all that muscle memory. It's really about attacking these different game situations and trying to simulate those by themselves.
Awesome stuff. Trey Ryder with us from the American Cornhole League. Big event tonight. It's at Daly's Place, 7:30 until 9. And Trey, free to attend, right? If people want to go check it out and be part of the broadcast that will air tomorrow at 1 on CBS.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we're going to have a good crowd there, but it's a chance to be on CBS and see some of the best cornhole players in the world. You show up, we'll bring you on in. It'll be a great experience and crown some champions.
Hey, I appreciate the time, man. Good luck with everything, and look forward to seeing this at the Olympics someday. Thanks for coming by Jacksonville and stopping by ESPN 690.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.